Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
I hope you guys are doing well out there.
Indeed, we do.
So we just got done with mantras and meditation. We, as so many of you guys out there, are feeling this huge period of transition. And what I was getting was that there are many that have already turned the corner. So many of you have made it through your quote unquote like dark night of the soul, and then many are still deep in the process. And what Cindy was getting from Isis came in this morning very loud and clear. Isis is one of our main guides. Isis, Thoth, as we've shared with you before, Lakshmi, Ganesha, Yeshua, as well as some under the service of the Archangel Gabriel. These are all part of our main guides, along with Laurel from the Galactic Federation, and also she's on the Pleiadian High Council. We are at a critical juncture, and many people are feeling it big time right now. This has been an interesting time, to say the least, and this has been a time that's been very, very painful in a physical way for so many people.
Well, yeah, they're explaining that we have to, and we're going to go through some physical pain when it comes to this recent sun flare and these recent upgrades. We're going to feel it in a very physical way, and it can be very painful, but they're asking us to actually listen to our pain, see where it leads us, ask ourselves, okay, what fear does this bring up inside of me? Where does this take me? Because the pain is actually an indicator of evolution. It's helping your soul grow up and beyond certain limitations. So you're pushing the boundaries of your own soul. And this is happening to so many of us right now.
It's all about a change, an evolutionary change, and that's why this channel's been named Evolutionary Energy Arts. It's all about learning things that could help in the times of these great changes. And that's why, I decided to make the channel really, what happened was I had moved. I was, teaching people in person. And then Spirit led me to move, and then move again. And so I've been on the road. I've been a gypsy for many years now. But now we're in a period where we're going to be rooting and grounding in more ways than one. And, that's what came through today. It was a message about creating a firm foundation for yourself, an opportunity to grow. And that might be different for everybody. For us, it might be finally settling down. For you, it might be buying an RV and being flexible. Mm-hmm. It's going to look different for everybody. But really, as we've been saying, it's so important, obviously, to take care of your physical needs. And the physical body is going through changes right now. It's going through changes, and we're evolving very, very rapidly. But the best thing that you could do is a daily spiritual practice. And for us, that involves still meditation, mantras, Qigong, and yoga on a daily basis. And everybody is unique, but also things like the intermittent fasting and fasting in general, because this is a time of listen to your body, give it what it needs and what it craves. And that doesn't necessarily mean high fructose corn syrup, of course, and ice cream. No, I mean, listen to it. Listen to when your cells are happy. If you could develop that, because again, you are a universe to yourself. You're a conglomerate of sorts. There's all sorts of beings in you. You have all these different cells, which are each one of those cells is an individual spark of life. And then you have 10 times the number of cells in your body and the number of organisms that are living in your body. And hopefully, mostly in a symbiotic relationship, working together to maintain a stasis. They're going through a change as well. And that's all about this big period of change. So we're going to be going through a period of growth, purge, purge. And that purge is not just physical, it is physical, but it's also emotional. And emotions, if we look to Chinese medicine, if we look to acupuncture, there's something called Lao channels. Lao channels are channels that come off of the main meridians. There's 12 main meridians. There's 8 extraordinary vessels that life force is stored in, along with the 3 primary reservoirs, the 3 dantians. These Lao channels are places that develop because we encounter things we can't deal with. And so we literally bury these emotions, these feelings that we can't quite process in a physical location in the body. Well, all that's getting purged now because you have to get through all these things that have been around perhaps almost your entire lifetime since childhood. In some cases, things that you haven't gotten over yet from past lives. In some cases, things that you haven't gotten over yet from ancestral issues that have been passed on through us. Again, we live in a holographic fractal universe, multiverse. And so our actions reverberate forward and backward. It's mind boggling, but we are actually healing the past from the present as well as making a better future with every decision we make.
That's really important to acknowledge, is when you're healing yourself, you are healing your own future, that your children, your grandchildren, and your ancestral line. Very important to heal yourself because it reaches in all directions. The healing goes in all directions. And when you're feeling pain, that's a huge cry for help. And we are all individual souls in the body. And if our soul is feeling pain, that's just telling a higher aspect of ourselves, look, there's something that needs to change here. And what's going to need to change in the upcoming days, weeks, is our evolutionary path. That's going to take a turn for the better.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And when we look at Isis and we see the sun there's the sun disk. And, interesting that we see the snake coming out of the sun, because the snake in many ways is representative of the Kundalini. The Kundalini is the potential for evolution that lies dormant in most humans. But it's awakening. And given the natural progression of things, it would be awakening in everybody on this planet to a varying degree. Now, you have many decisions to make. And obviously, we know there's a major, major decision that's being made right now, every single day, by people on this planet that are feeling the pressure, of making a critical choice. And you guys know what we're talking about. You know what we're talking about. Obviously, the word begins with the same as victory, same letter as in victory. And again, everything here is about ascension. It's about ascension because there is a 3D, 4D loop. Buddha saw that the world was Maya. It was all an illusion. It was all a construct of mind. And again, we are ultimately energy. Energy can't be created or destroyed. It only changes forms. When we talk about the mysteries of the universe, as Tesla said, he said, think about frequency. He said, think about energy, frequency, vibration. We've been locked into this 3D, 4D loop. Many people have. Now, there are some that have come down from 5D, some that even have come down from 6D in order to help free humanity. Again, about 2/3 of humanity are beings, are souls that haven't known anything but Earth. This has been their only incarnation. Has been on Earth, and they haven't been above 3, 4D. And it's interesting too, because when we look at Revelation, what does Revelation says? It says the dragon's tail swept down 1/3 of the stars, which are interpreted to be fallen angels to the earth. Another way of looking at it is you have 1/3 of the beings on the planet that are volunteers trying to help wake up the 2/3 that are sitting here and have no clue about what's really going on. They're very gullible. They don't know better than to question. They don't even know to question authority in many cases. This is all they've known. And again, the truth is hidden in plain sight, although it might be dressed in a certain way as to make it look like the reverse or inverse of what it really is. So, when we look at on the head of Isis, we see a bird, right? And, again, the wings. We always see the wings associated with Isis, the wings of the Merkaba. So the sun leads the way to the Kundalini awakening, which brings about the Merkaba, which is our light body, which can take us up out of the 3D, 4D loop and bring us into the 5D realm, where the darkness that pervades on this planet can't really go en masse. There are a few beings, interdimensional beings, that can reside on 5D. But for the most part, the beings that are here on Earth that we see every day, quote unquote, running this show, they're not heading that direction at all. Not at all. In fact, many of them have truly sold their souls, so to speak, to the devil. And again, here we have another biblical saying that there is truth in, although it's not exactly what we might think. And again, what's selling your soul to the devil? Well, perhaps it's making the choice to have riches here on earth, as Satan would say to Yeshua, Jesus, look, get taking them up on top of the mountain. All this can be yours. All you have to do is perhaps, it's just a little pinprick.
Just a little pinch.
Yeah, there'll be no more for you guys that follow that comfortably numb. It was hitting me that, wow, we get so much from our music. Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb. That you could really look at that and take that to be exactly what's happening on the planet now. Do you want to be one of the zombies? Do you want to be zombified? Or do you want to be one of the mutants, so to speak? And it's so interesting that we see this again, the mutants being persecuted by humanity that hasn't evolved. We're all basically evolving to the point where we will be a new species, and we will be kind of like the mutants, everyone having their unique abilities. And it might not be as dramatic as we see in the movies, of course. They have to sell tickets. But at the same time, it is pretty amazing to think about the abilities that we can develop, such as seeing the auras. And by seeing the aura, know when somebody's lying to you, know when somebody's telling the truth and they're being honest. Because you could see their energy body, you could see the colors shifting as they're talking to you. In many cases, people will be able to just simply read each other's minds. Then how can we be sold a bag of goods when we have these type of abilities that we know is fictional? It's just obvious. And then even see the controllers behind the controllers. It becomes obvious when you can see these darker entities that often take direct control of the beings that we see walking around the planet looking like they're running the show. But in reality, they're nothing but puppets. So this is our future. Our future is right out in front of us, and the choice is to become a zombie, basically, or to become a mutant, if we're going to use the lingo of the movies all around us.
I think that's safe to do that. That way we're speaking and getting our point across without getting in any troubles. Because we have to be cryptic all the time. We have to be, that's the path that we chose to help people understand what's happening to them, what kind of growth and development they're going through. And a lot of people, have emotions and feelings, and you might not quite understand, what are these emotions? What are these feelings? What does this mean? And, it took me a lot of years too to decipher. And when I start feeling things that are coming at me, I can tell so easily when somebody is not being genuine, to the point, to a fault, because sometimes people don't even know that they're being disingenuine themselves. And, that can be a little disturbing. So the things that we're going through now, the changes that we're all making now, can be very confusing.
Mm-hmm. So the choice is yours. Do you want to be part of the zombie apocalypse, or do you want to be one of the new mutants, so to speak? Many have already made that choice, and in either direction, there is such opportunity for growth right now like there hasn't been in thousands and thousands of years. This is the big window of opportunity. So we really, really have to look at things with the bigger picture in mind. You know, are you willing to give up some conveniences to basically perhaps take an evolutionary leap that is lifetimes, many, many lifetimes, hundreds of lifetimes, perhaps thousands of lifetimes worth of work in one fell swoop?
Mm-hmm.
This is the type of potential that's there. And the energy is coming in from the sun. That's what we wanted to get back, what we were talking about with Isis, because Cindy was seeing the sun disk and she was seeing that there's a major wave coming in now. And this major wave, you know, is impacting us, has been impacting us between the two eclipses. And it's been very, very painful for many people, physically painful. This is what we're encountering when we're talking to family members out there and people that are going through major changes. The changes have amplified to all new levels.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, yeah, emotionally too, been very emotionally difficult to deal with and cope with. And people don't understand what's happening with my emotions. You know, you're going through upgrades. So I think a simple thing to do in your mind when these things are happening to you is to not try to make too much of it, but tell yourself, look, I'm going through upgrades. That's it. Leave it at that and let them happen.
Mm-hmm. So it's time for us to stand our ground and to be very, very, very firm, get our footing firm, root, ground, stand your ground, stick up for what you believe in. Don't give in to all the hype. Don't give in to the power structure. Be bold enough to be a unique individual that will not just, you know, give in to any of the indoctrinations, any of the pressures that we get from, you know, obviously the mass media, the powers that be. We're each a unique expression of source. We don't need any of their dogmas. You know, that's what one of the things that's going to be shed right now. We've had many people asking for us, you know, do you have a system? Do you want to, you know, how do you teach energy work and all? You know, because they want to learn energy work. And basically, you know, we're very eclectic, and everybody's going to be eclectic because we're going into a different time period. It used to be that you had to have a direct guru if, say, you were going through the traditional way of yoga. And the guru would send the energy into the person to open up the third eye and initiate the Kundalini process. And we still do that every day when we're working on people energetically. But this is now a time where you're going to get that from your higher self and the higher realms directly. When we're talking about Isis, you know, in one aspect, she is a collective and up on the sixth density. But in also another reality, she's still in a fifth density singular form as well. And this is part of the bigger picture that may not be understood. What you perceive as yourself is just a fraction of the true self. And that's something that has to be meditated on to understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, the sun, when it comes to activating Kundalini, the sun is doing that now. You know, we don't need to do anything special, but what we do need to do is take good care of ourselves, accept what's coming to us, and don't panic. Don't be afraid. Just know it's something that is to be, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's happening to so many right now. They're getting that Kundalini activation just through the sun. It's wonderful.
When you look at the mythologies all across the globe, why do these entities seem imperfect that we would call the gods? Well, for one, again, they've all been jumbled in many cases into being the same sort of beings. There are those out there that will lump all these beings into being Anunnaki, quote unquote, and they're not. You know, Isis has nothing to do with the Anunnaki. You know, just to give a for instance. They're not all the same category of beings. Some of these beings are stellar, solar beings, so to speak. Some of them are collectives. Other ones are, beings that have physically been on Earth and also perhaps utilize different technologies. Again, there's all of the above, as we were talking about so many times. There are interdimensional beings, of course. You yourself are a multidimensional being that perhaps doesn't have full knowledge of the spectrum of your consciousness. As we tap into the higher self and draw that energy down, then everything changes, and our abilities are going to grow rapidly. And as I'm saying this, I'm feeling the downloads come through my crown chakra. It just comes directly into the body. So I know I'm channeling what the higher beings, the higher powers, my higher self wants to get across to you guys. And this is part of the disconnect that we've had, because through the power structure on Earth, we've been cut off from ourselves. We've been cut off from ourselves, our higher selves, the greater aspect to your consciousness that doesn't all reside in this body. This is just a fraction. Again, think fractal. This is a fractal of you, the bigger you that inhabits this body that you find yourself in. And that's, again, something that I hope you guys will meditate on, because there is a much bigger you out there. And that you is going to be manifesting to a higher degree in this physical vehicle, which is under rapid change and rapid growth right now.
It is, and that's where the pain can definitely come in, but they do encourage you to actually communicate with that pain, see what it's telling you, see where it's guiding you. Look at those parts of you, what are you afraid of? What can you actually distinguish from the pain? What are you drawing from it? It's an evolutionary process. It's a beautiful thing, not to be feared, but to be embraced. And, all of us are moving onward and upward, and that's great.
And when you look at this Isis, you might notice the bent over figure of Newt over and around that manifest universe, which is which is thought to be the divine feminine, really, because again, when we get to Shiva and Shakti, and Shiva, that which is not yet physically in form, Shiva, and Shakti, that divine feminine, which actually allows things to take a concrete form so consciousness can explore its playground. And that's what this should be, is a playground for consciousness, a school that we could not only learn in, but also enjoy and have fun. That's what it's supposed to be about. It's exploratory. It's not supposed to be a purgatory. It's not supposed to be a punishment. And for those that are still locked into these fundamentalist beliefs that think that the creator of everything is going to, or already has predetermined that you're going to spend an eternity in hell, that's just a lie. Plain and simple, that's a lie given to you by the power structure to keep you in line, to keep you not questioning authority, to keep you in fear. Put a feeling of love in your heart, and what do you feel? You feel expansion. Put a feeling of fear in your heart. What do you feel? You feel contraction. It's obvious. It's so obvious for those that have eyes to see. So let go of the fear. Allow yourself to grow in love and expand that outwards. Have that daily, firm, strong, rooted practice, spiritual growth. Again, things like yoga, Qigong, mantras, still meditation. There's all sorts of meditation that you can do. It's critical in this time frame. So you can build some true discernment and not rely on others for your information. Go to source yourself. Go to the higher realms yourself. Connect and feel what feels right. Don't trust in others. Buddha said that. Buddha said, do not believe anything because I told you. Don't believe it because your parents told you, or your teachers, or your rabbis, or your priests. Feel it for yourself. Learn your own truth. Learn to think for yourself and learn to feel for yourself. Again, do you want to be a zombie or a mutant? Your choice.
Yes, it's time to wake up and learn our own way of doing things, have our own understanding of, our DNA memory, because it is lifetimes in the making for this, what we're doing now. And we've already trained for what we're doing here now. So listen to your own intuition, listen to your own soul.
So, guys, we want to thank you guys for being part of the family. We're going to send a little energy your way. See if you guys can feel this energy. May you all be blessed with abundant peace, health, happiness, love, and light. May you all be lifted up into the highest potential for this life. May the angelic realm, the great archangels, Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, Uriel, protect you, shield you, and guide you from the darkness that envelops this planet. May the love of Yeshua blossom in your heart and the wisdom of Buddha guide you. May all the ascended masters be there, and may you be open to receiving their light and teachings and knowledge. And may the love of the Divine Mother be just cultivated in your heart and firmly rooted into this world, which is exactly what we need. As always, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.